I hope that you are all doing well. Thank you so much for joining me here today, where we are going to do some very simple, quick embroidery. I will show you what we'll use. Embroidery floss, whatever colors you want. I am going to be using a dark background, so I have a white and then I have a blue. We'll need something to embroider onto. I have felt, I also have cardstock. And whichever one of those you use for the project I'm doing, I cut it into a circle. So you'll need scissors also, and you might want a ruler. And I also have a needle. That needle is, I believe, a tapestry needle. You can use an embroidery needle. That works probably better than the tapestry needle. I was watching a video online about doodling, and you can find all kinds of videos about doodling online. And there was one about doodling snowflakes. So I doodled this snowflake. It's a pretty easy process. You draw a line, you draw another line, and you make an X, and then you put little arrow kind of things coming off the end of it. I'm going to cut that out into a circle, and I'm just going to trace around that one. Now, if you're thinking, this is just the felt, if you're thinking you don't have any felt, what are you going to do? You can just as easily use the cardstock. The next thing I did was cut my embroidery floss to about 5 feet long. And then I need to separate the strands. So this is a 6-stranded embroidery floss, and I'm just separating it into 2 strands that are 3 strands each. Next, we are going to thread the needle, and then we can get started. It's a pretty easy process. Just twist it, thread it right through. Sometimes if it gives you trouble, you might have to trim the edge to get it at the same level. So we're going to use 2 basic stitches here, and I'm going to demonstrate them on the paper just to illustrate that you can just use the paper. So I'm going to tie a knot at the back. I'm not going to get too fussed about where it lies, and because this is a more rustic looking item, I am also not going to worry about how perfect my stitches are. And if you've been around for a while, you know that's probably true about most of the things I do. So we're just poking the needle back through. You can do the stitches as wide or as narrow as you like. Poking the needle that way, pulling it through, going like that. And the side with the drawing on it is the back. This is the side people are going to be looking at. Oh, when you get to the end, you're just going to make like an upside down arrow at the end. To give it some more dimension. So to make the French knot, you just poke your thread through, and then you're going to wrap around the needle twice. So 1, 2, get it down close to where you came in. You're going to go really close to it. You're going to keep this thread tight. Push that back through. Pull it through, keep that tight, and then you've got a little French knot. Once, twice, get it really small, put it right through there, hold that tight. There, that's a little better. Alright, so those are the stitches we're going to use. Let's get started on the real project. So I have threaded my needle, and I double it for a good portion, but at the end it's just single. So it's doubled a little more than a foot, so like 18 inches, but I don't tie those together, I just tie the single end. That just helps me keep an eye on where that thread is at all times. You can start wherever you like. I find it easiest to work from the back. Because I can keep an eye on what I'm doing. So my stitch is probably a combination of 2 stitches, because I do the back stitch for part of it, and for part of it I just do a regular stitch. Back stitch is easy to do because you don't have to keep looking at the other side. This is just a quick little project. I think it being kind of rustic adds to the charm. So I would not worry too much about getting it to be perfect. But that being said, perfection is not necessarily my thing. If you want it to look perfect, you take as much time and do it as carefully and closely as you wish. I am not one to stand in the way of somebody else's creative process. So I'm at the end. I'm going to put that in, go out that way to make that upside down arrow, or V if you prefer, at the end of my snowflake. So I've made the large one. I've made one large one. Okay, I am still working on the snowflake, but I think I'm going to start putting in some of the French knots. So, remember how we do that. So it's just wrap once, wrap twice, put it right down, right next to where you were, pull it through, and there is that French knot. So I'll do more of those and we'll come back. All right, so that is what I did. I had a couple places where it messed up, so I had to go back and rip it out and sew it back in. So it's sewn in, and I bought one of these little embroidery hoops. So I'm going to use that as a hanger displayer. So you just lay that on top. Push it down. Tighten that top. Then I just feed that through the center there. Pull it through. Get it about the middle. Tighten it up. And there we are. I hope that you enjoyed this quick embroidery project. Like I said, it's nothing to be stressed about. It's just a quick little project. I think it came out kind of cool. If you run into problems, just take the thread out, start again, or go back to a certain point and start over from that point. No stress, just have fun with it. I hope that you enjoyed the project, and I hope that you will join me again. We'll be back next week with more Explore and Create and another book video. I hope you'll join me then. And until then, I hope that you continue to use your curiosity to explore your world and your creativity to improve it. And thank you!